Well, first I'd like to thank the IFC, Lars, Jyrki, and the team for hosting us today. It's a wonderful space for us all to be in, an innovative space to celebrate something exciting. There's an old Zen proverb that goes, "Leap and the net will appear." As you can imagine, this appeals to an entrepreneur. And my remarks today are titled, "Leap and 25 million safety nets will appear." And that's what LeapFrog is fundamentally about. We know that in development and in finance, as today, there are dark days. There are times when one sees the growing slum or the decaying village and feels despair, and that is quite rational at times. Today is not one of those days. Today we gather in Washington with a host of leaders and impact investors, many of whom are here from a long way away, because there is a path of hope that has been illuminated in this area in ensuring the world's poor. Today, LeapFrog announces that we have raised $137 million from diverse institutions for equity investments in businesses that reach 25 million low-income and vulnerable people. We welcome JP Morgan, TIAA-CREF, Proparco, Waterloo, and ACE to this journey. It began as the dream of a small band of innovators, and it's nice to see it become a shared reality that is going to impact on millions of lives. As we celebrate a big moment, a historic moment, I think there are two central insights that have kept us going and need to be kept very clearly in view. The first is that the poor are, the vast majority of them are willing and able to pay for tools that help them to get themselves out of poverty and stay out of poverty. The second is that the agency of poor individuals has been dramatically underestimated. Books like Portfolios of the Poor reveal that the poor are constantly engaged in financial transactions of various kinds. They borrow from so-and-so, they promise to pay here, they engage in a mutual savings or insurance scheme. They are engaged in managing money, just much less of it, and in much more inefficient markets with poorer tools. What we are demonstrating today is an attempt to provide those tools and help fix those markets, not so that there can be special subsidies, but so that the poor can have the same opportunities and operate on the same playing field as the rest of us. That's all we're proposing. The historic question then becomes, how do we extend services like microinsurance, microcredit, microsavings beyond the 2 or 5% of humanity to first 10, then 20, then 50, then all of the global population? How do we take the pipes that have been built out to the majority of the poor now through mobile phone networks, retail chains, microfinance institutions, religious groups, and put products that are transformative down those pipes that are quality, relevant, affordable, that people will want to buy? How do we have that customer centricity and that efficacy? I think it will be a long journey, but I think we are at an epochal moment where the journey, the destination is not out of reach in our lives. We have 4 billion people who are much more on the grid than they were before. You, the people in this room, the social investors here, have a great deal of power to make this historic change by getting beyond business as usual, by getting to business as unusual, business that opens the gates of the capital markets. Only then, and note the diversity of investors who have become involved in LeapFrog, only then will we have the resources and the private talent, as well as public talent, to drive financial services to make a dent on mass poverty. If we can do that, we will have fulfilled, I think, an epochal promise. We will be able to say not just that the poor are bankable, for that is how this movement began, but that the poor are investors. They can access capital and financial instruments. They can take risks and generate rewards. They can shape their destiny rather than being shaped by it, by powers beyond them. That was the promise of the Industrial Revolution and the Enlightenment. But now we're able to achieve that promise potentially for the first time in history for the many, not just for the few, for those in developing societies, not merely for those in developing societies. There will be dark days, as I began, that will be immensely challenging to the human skill set and the spirit. But I think there is a drumbeat of history that we are seeing, that the investors in this room are part of, and that we are determined to reach out further and to build a sustainable future where scalable financing and real needs are able to come together. The frog is an amphibian. It operates on the land and in the water. Well, for a long time, since the Industrial Revolution, we've had non-profit and for-profit. We've had social impact and revenue. And I think what we see here is a range of ventures like LeapFrog, a range of funds, a range of opportunities that are going to operate at that intersection, at the profit with purpose intersection, and bring money and meaning together. And that will truly be transformative. Thank you to everybody who's been part of this journey, to the team and to the community that has become LeapFrog. It's a great day.